I just want to quickly show how to download the app and install, and then how to also allow the permissions in the first place. So you just saw how the app has finished downloading, so you just tap on it and that will open this up. Yeah, so you just, of course it's showing this warning. That's because it's not coming through Google Play Store. So you just tap on the open. If it doesn't open, it's because you're in your phone on the settings, you didn't allow unknown installation of unknown apps. So please do that and then come back to tap on the app again to get open. That way you will be able to get to this point where you can click install. So then you click install and that installs the app. So kind of waiting for it to go on. It's installing the app. Waiting for the installation to complete. I think it takes about a minute or two to finish installation, to complete the installation. Yeah, it's still installing. Still installing. It's still installing. Okay, so it has finished installation, so you can just go on right away and click open. But if you don't want to check it out immediately, you can just click done and then go to you can click done and then go to your screen for where you will see it. I think if I search it, that's Drive Africa. It's already up there. Okay, so I tap on it and that should launch it. So that launches it. So now that it's launched, so this is the first screen. Just click continue. You click continue again. So on this disclaimer, so the first screen was just kind of a splash screen telling you what the app is all about. Then this second screen is a disclaimer, which is simply to say that yes, it's just simply to say that the influence of alcohol is never safe when it comes to driving. Driving under the influence of alcohol is not a safe thing. And even though this study actually aims at understanding alcohol-influenced driving, we are not responsible for whether for you taking alcohol while driving. We just want to understand the influence of alcohol while driving. So that's which is part of the study, though just an aspect of the study as well. So you click continue, and then here you enter the driver profile ID that is given to you. So let's say your profile, as an example, let me just give an example profile ID. Let's say drive DSA 1 P2. So I'll click create. So that creates the profile DSA1P2. So this gets to the home page of the app. So on this home page, it's expected that once you start driving and you've driven like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strips, or even at the end of the day when you are done, you can just and you launch the app. After you are done, you launch the app and you click home. It will always take you to this screen, and on this screen what you will see are tips for that particular day. So the tips simply is very short descriptions of any unsafe driving behavior that was captured while you were driving. So, and then on top of that, if you tap on more information on top of any of the tips, then it will take you to details of that tip, where it will talk about the law, and then what penalties that the law prescribes, what sections of the law, which sections of the law, and then the penalty that the laws are prescribed for that particular offense on that for that particular offense for which the tip was generated for. So that's what this home page will contain. It will just simply contain the like 2 tips for each day. It's always 2 tips that will come up. So one tip is generated using Google Gemini. Another tip is generated using ChatGPT. Okay, so that's what those are the 2 tips that will display on top, and then you can click on the other thing, which is in fact, let me show you. I can just go quickly to my WhatsApp and show you if I have that. Yes, so this is how the tips look like. So this kind of thing will display, and of course it has picked, like in this case is swerving. The person who was driving had some incidences of swerving. Okay, so a tip about swerving is generated here using both ChatGPT and Google's Gemini. So the first one is ChatGPT, the second one is Gemini. Then when you click on the see detailed information, it will then take you to this next page. This next screen, which talks about swerving and which laws talks about the swerving, as well as the kind of fine that you pay if the kind of fine that the laws prescribe for the case of swerving and its related offenses. Okay, so that's how that is. So that's what we'll display here. Then the next thing is let me take you to the record trip. Now the record trip, when you tap on the record trip, this is where you record your trips. So, but for the first time, you need to grant all the permissions. So you click grant permissions, and then of course you grant the first one. I think is location permission. So I'll say while using precise, use precise please. Then click allow. Then here again, background location permission is the next thing that you have to allow. So I'll click allow all the time. Please click allow all the time here, because if you don't, it will keep asking you to allow, because Google really wants apps like this to ensure that it is allowed all the time before it can be able to collect location data. So then the next notification, the next permission is notification permission. So you tap on grant notification permission, click allow. So that's about 5 permissions that are required for this app to actually work completely. And when you've granted all permissions, you will see you'll be taken to now the start trip. Now after this first time, you will not go back to this point of granting permissions again. Anytime you launch the app, to just take and you click on the record trip data to take you straight to the start trip. It will just take you straight to the start trip, where you can then click on start trip and then you start. Now on this screen, this is where on this screen you just tap when you're about driving. When you started driving, this movement is too slow, will change to movement detected. Okay, so let me just show you an example. Let me kind of, as a demonstration, shake the distance, and you see it has started showing movement detected. So once it says movement detected, then you can click on the tap. You can now tap on the start trip, because if it doesn't show movement detected and you click and you tap on the start trip, it will tell you trip can only start when the vehicle is moving. And of course, we intentionally designed it this way so that the users don't just tap on the start trip mistakenly. So it is only when the vehicle has started moving that you tap on it, and that can only be shown on the movement text that is on this particular screen. And also the readings in the first readings are in meters per second square, while they are in floating point numbers, and then but we are trying to convert them to kilometers per hour per second. So it means that when the reading is converted to kilometers per hour per second, it means that's the speed at which you are driving. You are driving that number of kilometers per hour per second. In every second of an hour, what the app has converted is the rate at which you are driving. Okay, so I will show us an example again, kind of shake the phone a little bit, and so it will change to movement detected. And again, I click on start trip. You can see trip started successfully, and then you can see this. Once it has changed to end trip, meaning that the trip has actually started, and you will see notifications on your notification on your notification area. If you come down, you will see two notifications for this from this app. You can see this is the icon for the app. You see data collection service, vehicle movement service. Data collection service is the service within the app that collects data using the sensors, and then the vehicle movement service is the service that detects the movement of the vehicle. So these two will be notifications will be just those notifications will always keep you on the know that a data collection has started, and that also we are tracking the movement of the vehicle. Okay, so this is it, and then once you start trip, you can see new data collection is ongoing. That tells you that data collection is actually going on in the background. Now, even if movement is too slow, not sure it's a vehicle, even if it says that, for the fact that it has detected movement, okay, the sensors collects data at a very, very fast rate, sometimes 50 data points per second. Actually, the rate we put it is the default rate, which is around 100 data points per second. So you can imagine. So it means that for every second, anytime there's a proper movement, the sensors are able to pick up to 100 data points at a time. I mean, in a second. So that data has to be collected and then processed by the app. So for all that, it's always, because of that, it will always show you the new data collection ongoing. And until you end the trip, this new data collection will always be ongoing until you until you tap on the end trip. Okay, so when you are done with the trip, meaning when you have gotten to your destination, or end trip can also be where you are stopping to buy fuel, because there you spend some like 5-6 minutes. So in such cases, you can also end the trip at that point. Then when you want to start driving again, you then can click on the start trip again, go back to the record trip data, and then click on start trip again. Okay, but so at every point you want to end trip, you can easily and actually end the trip. So I'll click on end trip now. Now there are three phases in this start trip, end trip. There's a middle phase, which is processing data. Now, if you didn't end your trip early, meaning the trip you took was a very long trip, by the time you end the trip, the app would want to take some time to process many of the data, some of the data it has collected. So before you can start a new trip, so that you will see the button change to processing data, okay, to end the trip. So in that case, you have to wait until the button will automatically change to the start trip again once it has finished processing all of the data for the last trip that you collected. So that's how the start trip, the processing data, and then the end trip works. Then the next thing is, so once you end trip, it will change, the button will change back to start trip after processing. So you can, if I go back to my notifications again, you will see that the only service now that is running is the vehicle monitoring service, monitoring vehicle movement continuously. That's the only service now that is running. You can see data collection service is no longer there, and that's of course because new data collection has actually stopped. So that's the very important part of this app, the data collection part. Okay, then the other second part that is also very, very important is the report side of it. Now, in this report part of the app, we use this to generate the report of your driving. Now we have several filters. We have last trip, today, this week, last week, and then custom period. Now, for the sake of this experiment, we want you to rather use this week, and so that because we wanted to only check generate reports for the week that you just finished. So for every week, it is at the end of every week we expect you to generate a report, and so that the app can be able to give you a report of your weekly driving. That's the basis by which we want to measure how these reports and the trips actually kind of influenced the way you drive. So you don't need to enter any date here. If you want, you can. The date will come up, but then we've made it easier, or very easy, such that you just click on the this week, and the date will be populated on the date fields. So once they are populated on the date field, what you do is you tap the generate report, and this has collected your unsafe driving behaviors that it has analyzed, and all of that is now put together with what we call a prompt, and is sent to ChatGPT, which is then which they uses these our statistics to create or to generate the report and send it back to the app, and then the app then displays it for you to see. So this is the generated report. You can see it says, "Dear driver, I hope this message finds you well. After reviewing your driving data for the week, I want to commend you for your commitment to sober driving, as there were no incidents of alcohol influence. This positive behavior significantly contributes to your safety and that of others on the road. However, I noticed an area for improvement on April 7th, 2025 at 18:11 days on an unknown road. You exhibited swerving behavior 15 times during a single trip. This frequent unsafe behavior can increase the risk of accidents and may lead to potential fines or penalties. To enhance your driving safety, consider the following actionable steps. Stay focused, minimize distractions by keeping your phone away and concentrating on the road. Maintain a safe distance. This allows for better control and reaction time, reducing the likelihood of swerving. Practice smooth driving. Gradual acceleration and braking can help maintain stability. By adopting these strategies, we hope that. So there is some part of it that is, I think, cut out. I'll fix that a bit later, maybe in an update. It's because of the number of words that the limit. I gave a limit to the number of words that should come out. So ChatGPT is trying to kind of, based on that, cut out some of the text. So I'm going to fix that later. So, but the basic thing is that you get a report like this. Okay, you get this report, and then this report tells you your driving over the week. Okay, you can see how comprehensive this report is. Now, it is hoped that as you drive like this, as you use this app consistently for some days of weeks, in fact, in this case, we hope that it will influence the way you drive. So this is how to generate your report. And the next thing is that's all about the app, though. That's exactly how the app works. So you click this back button to go back to the generate report screen. Okay, you can again as well come to home, to which will now take you to home screen. I think the tips may even also be generated. Okay, you can see the tips are also generated. Okay, using, of course, you can see ChatGPT tip. You can also see the Gemini tip. So this is how actually the app works. So immediately after you're driving, the app will definitely analyze your driving behavior to know what unsafe behaviors that you exhibited, and then use those to now chat with the ChatGPT or Gemini to generate these tips. And then if you click on the see details, you will then see, because the app also has the knowledge of the driving. Two things the app has knowledge of. One is the Nigerian Highway Code, and then two is the Nigerian driving regulation law. These two things the app knows about. The app has knowledge of it. So it takes all of this information and then asks ChatGPT and Gemini to generate tips based on these. So it's based on those facts. The generated tips are based on the facts of the law. Okay, so that's how this thing works. So I hope that I want to thank you for your time to listen through the explanations. and I hope that this will be so good, and I want to just thank you for everything. Thank you very much as you agree to partake in this experiment. Suggestions are also welcomed as we go along in the experiment. Thank you very much.